So we're in the lounges of the Swan, and in Tudor times, they did a rather unusual thing when they used to build their buildings. For good luck, they used to take shoes, normally lady shoes, and insert them in the walls. So this is a true 550-year-old shoe that we found when we removed a wall at the hotel. So we're currently in room 47 of the hotel, and like most of the hotel, it has a very interesting artifact, which is 15th century graffiti. When you come to the hotel, please take a minute to visit our Wall of Memories. This is such an amazing thing, from a bill from the hotel from 1869 to the tariffs if you wanted to come and stay in the 50s, to my personal favourite, a 1984 telegram from Dolly Parton. So we're now in the hotel bar, used to be called the Old Bar, but it's now called the Airmen's Bar after the Second World War. On this wall, we have signatures from the Army, the RAF and the American Air Force. In the Second World War, Lavenham was a big supporter in the fight against the Germans, and everyone in Lavenham put up a room for a pilot throughout the war. So the pilots used to drink in the bar, they basically annexed it, and it became the Airmen's Bar. In the top left, we have a thing called the Boots record, and what the soldiers and the pilots used to do is they had a 3.5 pint boot, they would fill it, and then they would take in turns to drink it. The rules were, it was one continuous drink. You could enter the boot record with the amount of time it took for you to complete it. The fastest score on there is 22 seconds. That's very quick. As you walk into the bar, you're greeted on the wall with a series of service badges that have been donated over the years. The rumour is in the beginning, it started by the pilots not knowing if they were going to return the next day, so they used to rip their badge off and nail it to the wall. But over the years, we've been donated so many things to the bar. So all of these badges have been donated by ex-pilots and soldiers over the years. We've even had an Army songbook, which used to live in the bar in the 1940s, donated to us nearly 60 years later. One of the other great features of the bar are these series of tenor bells, which were used by the renowned Lavenham bell ringers from the 18th century through to the 19th century. There are so many other things to look at, but another unusual fact is the fact that the bricks in the floor were actually used as ballast in the Merchant Navy to move the wool made by Lavenham around the world. So originally, the Swan Coaching Inn was only a 14-bedroom building. In 1960, it was purchased by Truss House 40, and an architect called James Hopwood put together a plan to join the Warhol parts of the hotel and the Coaching Inn parts together. It went from a 14-bedroom hotel to a 60-bedroom hotel with 2 restaurants. The hotel definitely gets a lot of attention, and 3 years ago we filmed Tudor Walks here for Channel 5. In the hotel, one of our medium function rooms is called the Suffolk Room. It's named after the ship, the MV Suffolk, and this is actually the bell from that ship. The layout of the Swan is so interesting. This is actually a guest bedroom going in, and it's a heavily requested room, with the joke that it's a Harry Potter room under the stairs. But as you can see, the door is not very big. But if you look at the room behind it, room 10, which has a massive grand door, you wouldn't believe that room 9 is actually almost twice the size. So we're now in the Warhol area of the hotel, which is at the back of the hotel, and a must-see on any tour of Lavenham. It was originally built as the Ladies' Guild of Lavenham, but then transformed into a wall-making facility. Back in Tudor times, Lavenham was one of the richest towns in England. You only need to look at the church to understand that. And it made its money through making wool, and this was converted from a guild into a wall-making facility. That's why it has the big windows, but in those days it would have had shutters. They started making wool when the sun came up, and they stopped making it when it went down. Due to complications with tax and the Italians inventing a new way of making wool, the town went bankrupt. So when villages and towns were ripping down Tudor buildings and replacing them with Georgian ones, Lavenham couldn't afford it. That's how it ended up the best preserved Tudor town in England. Later on, the village was bankrupt and this building became unused. And in 1911, it was actually sold to a man in Ascot, and it was dismantled, which you can see in these photos here and these photos up here. So they wrote on every beam what beam went into which with a number and a letter, and it was taken down. The locals petitioned the royal family, and one of the princesses paid in 1911 to have the building rebuilt. And when they rebuilt it, they left out a floor, so you can see along this line all the holes where the old floor would have been. So we've come to the end of a very brief history tour of the hotel. There is so much more to see, and the best way to do that is come and see us.